Welcome to Array.Ink. I'm Ray.
And I'm Arrow. Today we're going to give you a brief overview of the single-player mode.
It's generally self-explanatory, so it's not like we're going to give you a walkthrough. But we'll give you a few tips and pointers you might not figure out yourself.
Like we pointed out in the basics episode, you can get to the single-player mode through the drain pipe, or through the menu by clicking on Octo Canyon. Once you get here, Marie will give you some exposition on the actual plot of this mode.
Levels in the single-player mode are invisible at first. You'll have to reveal them by shooting them with ink until they become opaque petals, which you can then get through by turning into a squid with ZL. They're located in pretty obvious places in the first few worlds, though the hiding places get more sophisticated as you progress. We won't spoil all the level locations, but if you really need help, there's plenty of online guides and walkthroughs. And if you've already unlocked a kettle, you can access it through the quick map instead of traversing to it again.
There are 5 separate worlds in the single-player mode. Each world has a few levels, increasing by world to a total of 27. The beginning levels are pretty easy, but as you progress they can get more complex. Some of them are built around gimmicks, such as bouncing pads or floating platforms. Marie tends to give you tips in her dialogue, so be sure to pay attention when she talks.
When you begin, you start with the hero shot, which is essentially a splatter shot, the standard shooter in Splatoon. If you wanted to perform just like the splatter shot in multiplayer battles, you'll need to upgrade it once. As you progress through the levels, the weapons expert, Sheldon, will begin asking you to try different weapons. Sheldon's the owner of Ammonite, the weapon shop in Inkopolis Square. The weapons he'll ask you to use represent the different classes of weapons in the game. This way you can learn how to use them and figure out which ones you like best.
As you play, you'll be able to collect these orange orbs called power eggs, and these silver gear things called sardinium. Power eggs will be available in red balloons and in the overworld in addition to being collectible in levels. These can be used to upgrade your weapons. You can upgrade them at the Ammonite's Enhancifier in the first world of Octo Canyon. Upgrading can allow certain weapons to shoot faster, farther, or to save ink with each shot. You should know, though, that fully upgraded weapons in the single player don't function the same way they do in multiplayer.
You take damage differently in the single-player mode as well. Every player character has 100 hit points, and each enemy deals a different amount of damage. If you get 100 points of damage in multiplayer modes, you're splatted and sent back to your spawn point. However, if you take 100 damage points in the single-player mode, you lose your armor. Without your armor, you're very vulnerable to damage, and any hit you take after that will splat you. You'll recover your armor after a few seconds, so it's a good idea to hide from enemies until you get it back. You can also pick up armor in briefcases, which gives you an additional 100 hit points. You can pick up a total of 2 stacks of armor, giving you 300 hit points max.
In addition to your main weapon, you have access to sub-weapons. You can unlock different sub-weapons at the weapon upgrader. The single-player mode allows for 3 different sub-weapons: a splat bomb, a curling bomb, and an auto bomb. Splat bombs explode a few seconds after they land, curling bombs ink paths that you can easily swim through, and auto bombs look for a target before they explode. However, these are not all the sub-weapons you have access to in the main game. There are several more that you can test yourself, and that we'll go over in episode 6.
Once you complete all the levels with a single weapon, you will be able to purchase it at Ammonites. The weapons you unlock are not new weapons, but are reskinned versions of existing kits. For example, the unlocked hero shot has the exact same kit as the splatter shot and functions the same way. Unlocking all the hero weapons is mostly for bragging rights in multiplayer.
All the Octo Canyon worlds also have a boss that you have to defeat. They usually aren't difficult though. Honestly, playing online and multiplayer at any level is harder than playing single player. Mostly because it's easier to predict a computer than a real person. But mastering single player will definitely help improve your online play.
You'll be able to see your records for all the levels through the map menu. This is useful if you're interested in unlocking all the hero weapons or speedrunning. It'll also tell you if you've gotten all the items in a level. Each level has a hidden sardinium and sea scroll to collect. The sea scrolls tend to be more difficult to find, and collecting them can provide insight into Splatoon's lore. You can also collect food and drink tickets in levels and hub worlds, which can be used with Krusty Sean's. We'll discuss how to use them and what they do in the next 2 episodes.
But we'll stop spoiling you and let you explore the single player mode yourself. Thanks for watching, and be sure to keep an eye out for future videos.
And if you like what you've seen, be sure to leave a like and subscribe.